Welcome to the PTA Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, John Caligiuri. I'm accompanied by my co-host, Nick Kelling. Nick, how you doing tonight?
How you doing? Great. Got some good
Just
leads.
to go past the fourth wall, this is President's Day. Thank you to the boy, George Washington, for crossing the Potomac. And today was my day off. Nick, as a realtor, was your day off?
No. Hustling 24/7.
I don't think realtors ever have a day off. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No. And apparently loan officers don't either. I just got someone approved today. So
Awesome. Congratulations. For how much?
400.
400,000. Not a bad commission check for the boy Nick. He's on the come up. He's got the mustache going. He's copying me.
Yep. Just because I didn't see anyone today, so I didn't shave.
Yes.
I only shave when I see someone.
For anyone, Nick is basically a Viking. He comes in Viking heritage, but he has all the elements of a Viking, but the ability to grow facial hair.
Yep. It's bald. It's a baby's butt.
It's a tough look for the boy. I also do want to give a shout out. If anyone knows Capoletti, Austin Cap, he had an accident on the slopes. So thoughts and prayers go out to him. I wish him a good recovery. If you know him, please reach out to him, give him good words, because he's a great man, and it sucks that what transpired, but he's in good spirits for sure.
Mm-hmm.
To completely change gears into a much less somber note, you got any big things coming up on the agenda you want to talk about? This is our Tuesday episode. Is when it's more like free roam.
Something big? No, just little things, just wheeling, dealing, making money, helping people out.
Okay, how's school going? How's school going for you?
It's going good. Studying on the side, studying after the podcasts.
Yes. I started my school today because I'm taking a full course load so I can graduate in 3 years. It's embarrassing how long it took me to figure out how to log into this textbook, because I've been using because I have one class, my anthropology class started a couple weeks ago, and I've just been using my personal email, and I never logged into my school email. So I was like, why can I get access to my accounting course? And I was like, oh, wait, the code is in. It kept on saying for my student email. I was like, I don't have a student email. And I was like, oh, wait. I 100%.
Wait, I got one when I signed up.
I 1,000,000% do. How much of a dunce can you be? So I got that going for me.
Accounting's it's a fun class.
Because what is your major in? Because I'm trying to get my MBA.
Yeah, so I'm doing construction management, and then hopefully in the future do architecture or something like that. But I did take a lot of business classes while we were in the military. So took that accounting classes, business structure classes, and stuff like that.
Did you get out with an associate's?
No.
Or close to an associate's?
Huh?
Or at least, were you spitting distance away from an associate's?
No. I only took like 5 classes.
Okay. Fair. So we
you need 100 credits, I think it is, for associates.
And how much is it for a bachelor's?
It's a little bit more than that. I think it's like 240.
240. Okay. Well, we do have a clip for today. We're going to talk about because I do know we say we're a business real estate podcast, but we're kind of a jack of all trades, mastodon podcast. We talk about people's careers and stuff like and dive into that realm as well, because we're both young in our careers, and a lot of people listening are just starting off too. So we feel free to bounce ideas off each other and things of that nature. So I'm gonna roll this clip.
To switch a job every other year, basically use your position to get something even better, you're gonna make on average 50% more than the person who just stays at the same company and gets pay raises. The reason for that is that when you're in the same company, they typically raise you anywhere between 3 to 5% of what you were making the prior year. But if you leverage that and you negotiate really well and you move to a brand new company, they could start you off at 20% higher than the previous company. And then all of a sudden now you got a 20% pay boost. Any increases on that, even if you get 5% of a 20% increase, that's still a lot more than what you would have gotten at the previous company. And then 2 years later, you just do it again. Now, you don't want to do it too quick because then companies will see that, oh, you're only working at these places like 3 months and then quitting, and that's pretty bad. But 2 to 3 years is about the sweet spot. It shows.
So Nick, I kind of want to throw the ball over to you first because you recently changed company. So kind of walk us through that decision and why you chose EXP Realty.
Well, I knew I wanted to be a realtor for at least the rest of my working career. And Keller Williams was probably one of the best brick and mortar realty company out there. They do a lot of good classes for first time starting off, but their commission cuts and their franchise fees are just really super high. It's pretty high for an average brokerage. With EXP, they don't have any franchise fees. It's a 20-80 split. They don't stack on top of fees. They don't stack on top of commission cuts. Well, fees on top of your commission cuts. And there's no like home office, but you make more money. You keep most what your commission splits is. So that's why I switched. And then also people just do different things. Like they have different systems. And I definitely learned how to do things through, how people do them through Keller Williams. And now I'm learning like a whole new side of this online version of becoming a realtor and doing online Zoom meetings for clients, or meeting them at like coffee shops for the first time, other than a brick and mortar real estate company like Keller Williams.
Which one do you prefer? And kind of break down the difference between brick and mortar and Zoom, just for someone who's interested in purchasing a house to set their expectations.
Yeah, so I would say pretty much every single real estate brokerage out there has or if you're a Coldwell Banker, your Keller Williams, your Remax, they all have a actual office building that you go in there and you'll meet the realtor for the first time at the office, or maybe houses. But the office is always an option for you to meet your realtor for the first time, or your loan officer for the first time might be at the brokerage. And then kind of like smaller brokerages might have a really small office, and they really don't want you to bring clients to the office because it's just so small and they don't really have a conference room. Now what EXP did was just eliminate all actual offices, and everything's just online. And it's really up to teams if they want to have an office, which my team has an office, but it's like a business center, and not a actual brick and mortar office. Like there's nothing that says EXP team office, you know what I mean? So it's just learning how to meet up with clients for the first time without being, hey, meet me at my office. If you want to set up a meeting this weekend at my office, here's the address in this really nice area of Houston. Now it's like, oh, are you free to maybe meet up at a coffee shop? Or I have an office, but it's a very public area. Or do you just want to meet up for coffee?
And what do you do when you meet with your clients? I'm John Caligiuri. I just got a $30,000 check. I'm trying to buy a house in Houston, Texas. I'm your customer. Walk me through.
Yeah, so really it's just getting to know what their expectations are and if they're actually ready to buy. A lot of people, they want to buy. They want to buy within at least a year, 2 years, and they just don't know really the next step. So I'm like, okay, let's set up a meeting. You can't really talk through everything over the phone. And it's really nice to, meet someone for the first time outside of looking for a house. Instead of just walking into some random house that's empty for the first time with someone that you don't even know. So it's always nice to have that icebreaker at like a coffee shop or at your public office. So what I talk about, I thank them. Hey, thank you for taking your time with me today. What we're gonna do, we really want to make sure that you want to work with me and I want to work with you. And at the end of the day, if we decide to work together, there's some paperwork that we can take care of. But the main thing is like, hey, I want to know what you're wanting in a realtor. Like, what's your expectation? Are you wanting to see a house every single day? Are you wanting to see a house every single weekend? Are you wanting to look at a few houses every month? Like, what do you want out of me?
Yeah,
Ask
that's-
questions. Like, the number one thing in sales is ask questions. I'm just asking questions.
what should what's the thing that grinds your gears from the customer standpoint that you wish they brought? Because for me personally, I just did a home equity line of credit for a guy, and he brought all of his W-2s, his statements, um, his home insurance. Basically, there's a checklist when you want to refinance a home or do a home equity line of credit. And he went online and he printed out. He brought all those documents in. So when we did the application, he just handed them to me. I made a photocopy. I scanned them in. I sent them up. It was a very seamless loan application, as opposed to what the average thing is. Someone comes in, we discover that they need that consolidating debt or getting home equity line of credit is the right financial move for them, and then they come back at a later date with all their documents. Say someone is interested in purchasing a home and they set a meeting with you. What are things that you wish they would bring for you?
Really nothing. I don't need anything. All those documents is with the bank, with a lender, which they can do all online. A lot of people, they do want to use their local bank, if it's Navy Fed, PNC, any kind of credit union, that's fine.
What do
And
PNC? If you're trying to buy a home, go to PNC Bank. Shout out PNC Bank. We love you.
Yep.
They pay.
Yeah, so I tell them, hey, right, if we decide to work together and they're wanting to buy a house in the next 3 months, the first thing to do you have a lender, or do you have a preferred lender that you want to use? And they say, no, I don't really care. Hey, I have this lender. They're up to date on all the Houston deals that are going on right now for lending and stuff. I'm going to have them call you. And I say, okay. And then they have like a little online portal where they submit their documents, and it's all through online. Or if they want to go through a bank, hey, tomorrow, call your bank and schedule a meeting, and let's take care of this. This is my business card. When you're done, when you're talking to your lender at the bank, give them my business card. Tell them to call me because we need to work together. And then yeah, they'll always call me, or the client will be like, oh, I forgot to tell them to connect. But a lot of time the lender will ask, hey, who's your realtor? Do you have a realtor? Oh, so yeah, that's never really a problem. But sometimes they'll forget. So I'll ask, hey, who's your lender? Can they CC me in the email with the pre-approval?
Do you
Most
have like
times on top of it.
a guy who's a lender, or like do you have like a John Smith who you always go through, or is it usually on the client to do that?
So I've been bouncing back and forth with lenders. What I'm using now is a small lending firm in one of the suburbs of Houston, Lockett Lending. Shout out to Lockett Lending. And what made them different from other lenders is they have a really good follow-up programs. So they're always following up with people. Sometimes if I have quite a bit of people in my funnel right now, and sometimes I can't keep up with all of them on top of my classes and just life. It's kind of like having another person in my ring doing follow-up and emailing me and stuff. So that's why I kind of went with them. They can offer all the same stuff as my old lender that I was using, plus they offer help with follow-up. So
What, in your opinion, what are some good things what are good qualities about a lender? First,
so yeah, I'm on the client side is
break
being
down
up to date.
what a good lender. Can you do that for me? Break down what a good lender is and what a lender is and what are good qualities of a lender for the people.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of interviews with lenders, especially when I do open houses. Lenders always come in, and I kind of try to test their knowledge about certain programs that I'm aware of, and then also certain programs that's related to that area that I've researched, and I ask them about it. And then if they don't really know anything, or they're like, oh, I'll get back to you, and I give them my business card, and then they never get back to me on it, then they're probably not getting back to one of my clients either. But these guys were super knowledgeable on all the programs that I've personally done research on that help people on top of other programs that were like coming out that day actually down from the federal government and future plans. So yeah, that's why I decided to go with them.
What is a lender?
So so I work with brokers, some mortgage brokers. So at PNC, they offer some really good programs. But if you don't get accepted at PNC, I mean, PNC might be able to broker some deals out. I haven't dealt with that if PNC does that or not. But a broker, they don't necessarily lend out the money. They will find people that will lend the money. So they broker your mortgage.
So they broker the deal so someone could take the mortgage, and they basically build the whole portfolio, or not the portfolio, they build the loan and then they sell to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, same with the banks. They sell them on the secondary market as well.
And
But
that's
with the broker, if like they might check PNC. Hey, what is PNC offering? That is the best option. Or hey, what is this other bank? Like they will find the best thing for you. Or if a bank doesn't accept them, I talked to the lender a little bit, and they rattle off all the banks that they're using, and they were working on a client, and they only got approved at one of the banks, but not the other, whatever 20, 30 that they use. Some people get approved in all of them, some people don't, and they really know which banks people should use. Oh, you have really high income but low credit. Oh, these banks are the best. So they know which banks to use. Oh,
the
this
bad credit person is my favorite human being on earth, because you'll have a good time with them.
yeah. Oh, this guy has low income but really good credit. I know who exactly likes these people. Oh, they had, everyone likes the high credit, high earnings, but who likes the low credit, high earnings? Oh, these guys. Who likes the vice versa? These guys.
If you're a low credit, low earner, we're the men for you.
Exactly. You might have to wait a little while. Yeah, I mean, so I guess when somebody meets up with a realtor, I would say at least be within 6 months of buying. I met with some people that are a year out, which that's fine. If some people are super planners. I said say 6 months is good, and 3 months is where we start looking at houses, because that's when the pre-approval is.
And also, this is my personal opinion. If you're a year out from doing something financially, if it's not a financial review, you're wasting the person's time.
Yeah.
The only thing that what a year out is really a financial review. Like if you're a year out from purchasing a home or purchasing a car, and you're talking about processing that loan, you're just wasting human beings' times.
Yeah. So some people are super planners, and that's fine. Definitely get in contact with me if you're still a year out, because I can put you in my CRM and I can follow up with you at the 6 month mark and the 3 month mark.
No, Nick, I know, because we're both young in the game, and you're a young realtor. Anyone, if they're 12 years away, you're going to put them in your CRM, just in your back pocket, just so you can say you have a meeting. We all understand that hustle. But I'm just saying, in theory, if you are someone listening to this and you are thinking, I want to buy a house 12 months from now, 18 months from now, what you really should be thinking, instead of, I need to go talk to a realtor, you should really be going, let me go talk to a financial advisor. Let me have them do a deep dive and bring, like, if you're really interested, if you are wanting to purchase a home and you're on the fence of, do you think you can afford a home? Step one should be setting an appointment with a financial advisor or an accountant, and bringing in your credit card statement and whatever saving statements you have. Bring those two items to them, have them do a deep dive into them, and have them critique your spending habits, and they will give you a good financial picture, and you can build a plan with that. So if you're, just for the people out there, if you want to buy a home in the next 12 to 18 months, Nick is not your first call. I'm not your first call. It really would be an accountant.
Yeah, and I mean, really make sure you have a down payment. Make sure you can cover closing costs. Those are like the lender fees, but can go anywhere from 2 to 5%, or really 2 to 4%, just in your closing costs. So make sure you have that. and then at least depending on which area you want to look at, which is going to be a good idea to maybe contact that lender at that 6-month mark to be like, hey, do you think I can buy a house with 1% down? Do you think I can buy a house with 2% down? See what kind of programs are out. Because they might tell you no, or they might tell you yes. And if you waited to like, oh, I'm going to save up 20% to buy a house, and this whole time you could have bought a house with 5% down this whole time, you know, and the lenders are going to be the no if there's certain programs out there for you.
That's true. And kind of getting back to the video, the whole point of the topic of changing jobs every 2 years to get more money. Have you found that advantageous for you, Nick? Are you liking your new role, or kind of break that down for me?
I would probably be the worst person to ask this question because I've only worked commission-based jobs. So I mean,
Yes, in terms of in terms of knowledge
in terms
base.
of knowledge base, I mean, going from selling a car to selling houses, I think there was a lot of, I already understood the pre-approval process. I understood the
Nick, I love that
like
you sold cars. That's such a hustle. Like that's a great foundation of anyone in life who makes it in business. If they start out selling cars, they went the
yeah,
long way. They did
yeah,
the long
yeah,
walk where they got.
yeah. I never wanted to, but the this idea that you're gonna get your dream job at the very first job is such a wrong mentality to have. Like you're gonna have to go to the gutters of the worst car dealership you can possibly find to get some sales experience before you're have your real estate license, or before you're selling $1 million houses. You're gonna have to sell $10,000 cars. I mean, it's part of the process.
How many cars did you sell? Hey, I can't make fun of
I don't know.
for the people out there. My first sales job was I was selling massage guns in Costco. I was 300 pounds with a shaved head. It was probably the lowest point of my life. But hey, I was pushing those massage guns.
Those are nice too at Costco.
Oh,
Costco moves. If you're gonna be a salesman anywhere, be a salesman like at the entrance of Costco, you're gonna get a lot of people looking at your product.
Yeah, no, it was 100%. We should do a deep dive into my one of the Tuesday episodes should be an episode of me breaking down when I worked for a Ponzi scheme after moving home. Not a Ponzi scheme, a multi-level marketing. What's it called?
Pyramid scheme.
Pyramid scheme. Yes. The whole point of this company was they would teach you how to sell, and then you create your own sales company, but your own sales company would be under like the branch manager of that region. So it was all just my first day training. The guy I was working with, shout out Muhammad, great guy. He said, I know what you're thinking. I know you think this is a pyramid scheme, but it's not. And I said, I didn't say that soon, it was my first day and I really needed this job. But in my head, I said, the reason the fact that you had to say this is not a pyramid scheme means it's a pyramid scheme. Like you answered all my questions with that word.
The things that you're selling, are you then selling to someone else to sell?
Yes, you're basically in that network of, instead of selling massage guns, you're recruiting people. So it's kind of
buy those massage guns to sell to other people.
So basically what they're doing, they would train you to sell something, and then you would create your own sales company to recruit other people, and then the people in front of you got the profits. So down and down and down and down. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's like almost trafficking Ponzi scheme of salespeople. Of you'd bring people in and train them, and eventually, once you were good at selling, you create your own branch, and then recruit your own people. But the person who brought you on, they got a chunk of your change. So basically,
I mean, I wouldn't. So a lot of people actually call realtors and the whole process a pyramid scheme, because another way you can make money as a realtor is recruiting. And at Keller Williams, it was just the franchise that you kind of work at. With EXP, it's the whole company. So if I recruit someone, to work at EXP and they sell a house, I get a little bit of their profit. So that 20% that they're paying the broker, that broker is paying me like 2% of that 20%.
Yeah, no, in sales,
And then if they recruit someone and they sell, then I get part of that 20%. I get, the person that I recruited get 2% of that, and then I get like 1% of that. And then it goes down to like, I don't know, maybe like 10 generations or something like that.
wow.
So people are like, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but like,
You should focus on recruiting people then, Nick. I bet you it's
It's a
easier
lot.
than
I don't know. I mean, that's like kind of like the progression of the failed real estate agent. They're like, I'm going to be a realtor, sell homes. And they're like, I'm not doing so good. I'm going to go recruit it. They suck at that. And then it's like, I'm going to wholesale. And they suck at that. And then it's like, I'm a.
Is
and then they just
wholesale
get out of the
like
business.
the bottom of the barrel of real estate, in your opinion?
Wholesaling?
Yeah. I feel like
No,
people in the
it's-
real estate industry look down on wholesalers. Like it's too, like it's easy.
No. I mean, it's just a different game. I feel kind of bad wholesaling has I feel bad for people who sell their house to a wholesaler and lose a lot of money. Like they could have hired a realtor and got a lot more money. But they also sold their house in like a day. Where as a realtor, you're gonna have to meet with a realtor, post it on the MLS.
I don't really
it
feel
might take
bad
a
for
week.
people who sell houses wholesale because the reason why you're selling a house to a wholesaler is you made a million poor decisions leading up to that decision, where that
Yeah.
solution is the best solution. So do I feel bad for them in a vacuum that they lost X amount of money? Yes. But you had to make a lot of, I don't want to say poor, but you had to make a lot of decisions that led you down that path that were on your own accord. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And I mean, even if you get, because when you default on your loan, you get a pre-default letter prior to that. And at that moment, you should be contacting the realtors to put your house in the MLS to sell. And a lot of people just say, screw that. And then it's like, I got one day and the bank is knocking on my door to take my house. So I'm going to call a wholesaler because that's my only option. I'm going to sell my house for pennies on the dollar. Because the wholesaler is going to sniff that. Like a good wholesaler is going to know, oh, this person needs to sell this house today.
They're sharks and they can smell the blood.
Yeah. And as a realtor, like I can't meet with you one day and hand you cash for your house. Like I got to put it on the MLS. It's going to take a while. Like it's going to take like
Unless
a week.
2020 houses were selling.
2020, yeah.
If only we were selling houses in 2020.
Yeah.
We'd be crypto billionaires.
Hey, easy money.
Please don't make a Joe Rogan reference, please.
Easy money's easy God or something like that. Hard money's.
The easier comes, the easier it goes. The harder it comes, the harder it stays.
Yeah.
That's the Viagra commercial.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. I guess for you, do you think maybe moving banks would be you could get a pay raise if you move banks?
Yes, 100%. Jumping around, you get a pay raise. I don't think I want to leave PNC anytime soon, just because they've been treating me very well. They let me transfer from Illinois to New Jersey. Really, no questions asked. Like very rapidly too. I didn't have to wait like 6 months or anything like that. Also, that was more of a big deal, I would say, 2 years ago. Now banks are, or not banks, but I know I can only speak for banks, but they're really looking at that and they're trying to keep their good people.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you're thinking about leaving, they will when he said you can make 20% more. If you're going to make 20% more, if you're a good person, they will match you. As they weren't really matching in previous generations. They're like, okay, you want to leave. Now
Yeah.
they're coming. Now they realize it's way cheaper instead of finding, because it's really, employees are the most expensive thing a business has. So you got to think about all the time and money spent of finding an employee. It took me 3 months to be trained to be a banker, and then I wasn't a good banker for probably 6 months because I was learning the ropes. And then they already invested a year into you, and then if you're looking to leave a year later, it's like, whoa, why don't we just hold on to this person? They already know our process. They already know our standard operating procedures. We know this person's a good employee. We don't have to go through all this. So I think there is kind of a change in banking at the retail banking level of, if you're thinking about leaving, they will match you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is cheaper for,
You should give it a shot.
Yeah, it's really cheaper just to match and keep a good employee. Even if you're an average employee, they know what they're going to get out of you. If you're a whatever employee, like, go. You know what I'm saying?
You should definitely apply for a different bank and see what they're willing to offer you, and then just go to PNC and say, hey, are you willing to match?
What do you hear? What do you say? Bing, bing.
You hear what you said? Just show up and just slap on the table, be like, yeah, you're gonna give me 20% raise, right?
Show up with a cigar and a goon. That's kind of all I got. Nick, you got anything else you want to add?
No.
Well,
that was good.
Again, thank you everyone for listening. God bless, and please pray for Cap. He's going through some stuff right now, so prayers out for him. And have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening.